Cool.
I think so. Yep. So, hi everyone. Thanks for. I'm just excited to kind of meet with everyone. I've been coming to this a couple times, and everyone has just such great ideas and suggestions. This is such an awesome community and with amazing people. So I'm just going to share just kind of a quick presentation of sort of my connection to Webflow and how where I really see value. And I think where I was kind of thinking about what can I share that would be something that I feel more confident in, since I've really only been working with Webflow for about a little over a year and a half. So that would just be the customer and client interaction with utilizing Webflow. And then at one point we kind of talked about tools and what resources we're using to basically integrate with Webflow. So I wanted to talk about Markup because it has made a big impact in my process, and especially the customer communication side of things. So a little bit of background on me and how I found Webflow, because I feel like everyone sort of has their journey to why they're in this no-code space. So I went to school for interior design, and I practiced interior design and worked at architect firms for about 5 years. I did that, and I focused on environmental branding, which is basically taking a brand and applying it to the physical environment. So I did that for a little while, and I really was wanting to do more and kind of feeling a little bit constrained. And I started to kind of bring on my own customers and manage my own customers kind of in that more entry-level position, and was really just hungry to provide more, but felt a little bit constrained. So I made a huge leap, just like a lot of other entrepreneurs, and quit my job with no customers, nothing, and started my own business. And I knew I wanted to start a creative agency that offered branding and web design, and that was something I hadn't done before. I had played around with WordPress and Squarespace and some of those other ones, but I was really frustrated with the limitations that I had with them. And I had worked with them with customers in the past and tried to give them what they wanted, but I always felt like I couldn't design to the max, right? So I researched, and I was either going to go with WordPress and then plug in like Elementor or something like that to facilitate my lack of coding skills, right? And I found Webflow. So that is kind of where my journey was. So I started my business in October 2019. And then in 2020, I did my first Webflow project for a customer. And I think I sold it for like $300 or something like that. And it was a full-blown website. So I've really kind of grown since then. And basically all of my customers have come through organic growth. So this year over doubled kind of the customers, and all of our customers are starting to kind of refer and bring on more customers, to the point where I'm super busy and I'm trying to kind of find some help, and kind of in some of those similar boats that you guys were talking about with your kind of agency, and you're seeing that growth path. Is everyone hearing me okay?
Yep. Sounds
awesome. Good. And so I would love it if anyone would just like jump in and like say something, like maybe it's a reference to what you've experienced, or if it's a question. I'm not an expert at any of this. This is more just kind of like sharing and kind of starting a conversation with you guys, because I really want to know about you and what your connections are to Webflow too. So just feel free to pop in. So I kind of broke this down into 5 just sort of points, and I'll talk about each one and just how my personal experience has been with customers and the Webflow kind of connection. So when we talk about how do we turn your customers into basically advocates for you or reoccurring customers, I like to think about the basic building blocks of like marketing. So what is that customer buying strategy? And it applies to website building as well. So you've got your basic 5 stages. So your customer recognizes their problem. So maybe they have a website that is out of date, or like a lot of my customers, they came to me because they couldn't update their website. The platform was really confusing for them, or they just didn't have the time, or they wanted it to look and feel a certain way, and they were feeling constrained by whatever website platform they were on. So your customer recognizes their problem, and then they start to gather their information and evaluate their solutions, right? So I wonder what you guys think about this, because I feel like the market is extremely saturated with website designers and developers. And I don't know if you guys are seeing that too, especially with basically everything being kind of remote now. So I feel like your customers are always looking for that credible source. So maybe they're reaching out to your friends, their coworkers, or other professionals. Or in the past, maybe it's been, oh, well, this person or this firm is close to me, I'll work with them. But now that everything's kind of a little bit more digital, we have the opportunity to work with even more customers, but our competition has kind of rised a little bit as well. So I don't know if have you guys experienced that at all, or kind of felt that? I'm just kind of curious.
I think the thing that I see is I see two, it's like two-pronged. One is I see that there's all these platforms that say it's super easy and cheap, and getting a good, you can have a website in 5 clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is one thing that that you see, is it's like it almost commoditizes what you do, or what we do. And then the second thing is similar to that. It can be a race to the bottom when you find people who are like, well, I heard that there's, someone can do this for me for $500, and you want to charge them $5,000. That becomes a really hard, it becomes hard and easy, because if someone wants the $500 website, they're just not the right fit. But that can be a challenge too.
Right, I totally agree. So just kind of going back to the stages too, we're all sort of going after that sweet spot of that customer being in that purchasing phase, because that's where they want to work with us, and they want to either do a development project with us or a website design process with us. But the other stage that I want to talk about is that post-purchase evaluation phase. So this is that opportunity where your customer is going to be evaluating you. And once they kind of get to that opinion, then they're going to, in their mindset, either want to recommend you in the future, or be a good advocate for you, or maybe they won't think of you as a reference if it isn't as positive as an experience as it can be. So your customer is going to kind of evaluate you in different times. So I like to use the example of this sort of instant gratification. So when say you send out a contract and your customer purchases, like maybe they put a deposit down on a project, or they pay that bill. Sometimes it's great to have that instant gratification of sending out a email and saying, oh, thank you so much for that. Here is something in return right away. So with some of my customers that are maybe smaller business owners, I take them through a discovery process right after they get that first deposit in, and they already have that first feeling of, wow, this was worth the money, this is worth the investment, I trust this person, they're already putting work in. So I'll show kind of like an example of how I use Markup to do a discovery process, but that is one of that post-evaluation process that kind of comes up. And then throughout the process, how you do the design and the development, how you hand off the project, your customer is kind of evaluating that. And so you can use all of those touch points to basically create a good experience for your customer. And towards the end, they will definitely want to refer you, because it just validates the fact that they decided to work with you in the first place. So one thing that is really helpful with finding individuals to refer you is to narrow in your community. So my background is in design and construction and architecture. So working within that community was almost like a no-brainer because I understand the customer, I know what they're looking for, I know what their pain points are. So the individual that works in, health and fitness, it makes sense for him to work in that field as well and to really hone in and understand his customers. So this can also be sort of an evolving process too, because these communities will start to touch other communities, or they'll know someone else, and it will start to kind of ripple, and it'll bring on a new individual or customer. So another thing that I wanted to talk about too is understanding your customer and being kind of respectful of what type of customer there are. These are 3 types of customers that I see all the time. One, the A customer is that, larger corporate company that has maybe a board or a larger group of decision makers. And those can be really, really challenging sometimes to manage because you have to figure out who is the decision maker at the end of the day. And you may have other people on the board or in the group that may provide feedback, but at the end of the day, they're not the ones approving the product or the design. So that's something where anytime you get in a situation with a customer, you want to try to understand what type of customer they are and apply that to your website design and development project. So same case with like a medium-sized business owner that may know what they want because they've gone through this process before, or maybe it's a new small business and they are really not tech savvy, and you kind of need to educate them, but be respectful. And if you take the time to do that, your customer will respect you for it, and then they will refer you and be a lifetime customer. Is there any questions, or am I going too fast or anything like that? Doing good?
I'm with you.
All right.
I just wanted to add on something.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the guy that hired someone to develop my site for me. What seems to be working with me that I love that my developer is doing right now is sorry, let me make sure you guys can see me. Is we actually get on like a video call, and it's like a 9-to-5 job. Like we stay on there and just talk, and he's working, I'm working on my stuff. It's just like we're working together, and it's really like he's part of the team, and that really works for me. I love it.
That's so cool. Does he stay on for like multiple hours at a time?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just literally on video cam, and we're just working, doing our own thing. But if he has a question, he'll just ask me, I approve it or not. We just talk through problems, and then we just keep on going with our lives. It's really cool. He's like part of my team, literally. Yeah,
that's cool.
I love that. That sounds awesome. So one of the kind of third points I wanted to talk about was like I said, your customer is evaluating you. So they want to, at the end of your design project, they want that validation that it was a good project and that they got what they were after. So in order for them to actually tie it to being a project of value, you have to set those expectations and set the path and the process ahead of time and communicate that with your customer. Sometimes the customer doesn't know what they want for a Webflow project, and so you have to kind of work with them to understand what tools they need, especially with like a Webflow project. Maybe it's a member stack integration or some of these other features. If your customer doesn't understand exactly what they need at the end of the day, it's up to you to work with them and educate them at the beginning and kind of make sure you're both on the same page, so that at the end of the day, they can say that the project was successful. We identified a target at the beginning and we hit the target at the end. It seems pretty straightforward, but sometimes it can be really challenged to kind of hit all these points with your customers because there are just a lot of moving parts in content when it comes to website design and development. So lastly, or the fourth thing, and then I'm going to jump into some markup that I've used, is just kind of practicing what you preach and actually getting in there and delivering that. So show that you're solving your customers' problems. So we kind of talked about that. Pay attention to what you're doing really well and replicate it. Don't be afraid that you've done it before, so maybe you're not being creative enough. Take that as a positive thing so that you can hone in on it and provide even more value. Communicate with your customers what you're doing for them and what is positive about their project, because at the end of the day, they want to share the success of their project. And so you can help to communicate that to them, and then they will turn around and tell, you know, the next individual that it was a positive project because X, Y, and Z. So basically, at the end of the day, customers are looking for validation that they made the right investment. So give them something they're proud of, and they will naturally advocate for you and your business because it validates that they made the right choice from the beginning. So I just say all that because all of my customers were completely organic, and they still are, and I'm working to kind of increase that more, but it's worth it if you put a little bit more investment into your customers. They will refer you. They will be a lifetime investment. So I'm just gonna hop into markup. Did anyone have any questions or comments, additional comments?
So the one thing that I would add that, so Joy and I did a project together for a client. She tackled the design and I did the Webflow build. And one of the things that I really liked about what Joy did was there was kind of like a, not a pomp and circumstance ceremony, but there was a little bit of a ceremony to the to some of the different stages, right? So that it was, you know, at the very end, it was like, okay, so now I'm going to wrap up all of the, I'm going to get all of the deliverables together. I'm going to put them in a zip file, the zip folder. The folder is going to be organized. It's going to have all the different things that they might ever need. It's got all their branding and their colors. And in there, I've made like a style guide, and here's your designs and your, all the stuff. And so that when you send it over, it's a way to have some, like I said, some ceremony or some finality to the handoff. And then because you've like handed that off, now it's like, so we did our final handoff, and kind of like what you were saying in your presentation there of like telegraphing your punches almost a little bit, like laying out the path.
Yep.
And then so you can say, okay, so these are the 5 things. And then we're going to know that the project is done, because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wrap everything up and send it to you. And then when you actually wrap it all up and send it to them, you've kind of like, oh, okay, so now this is done. And so that's, I thought it was a nice way to keep things moving. And because we've all maybe had clients, or if you don't have clients, like one of the things that can often happen is things just kind of drag on and drag on and drag. And so I really liked that approach of what you did, is that when it came to, and I think you're going to show us some markup stuff here, is like, we're doing this thing. Great. We did this thing. And now I'm going to tell you and show you that we're done with this thing. And now we're on to the next thing. And so it gives that kind of that cadence, and it that was one of the things that I really appreciated working with you is you had this, like I said, you had this like ceremony. It's not a ceremony. That's the wrong word, but
like almost like a checkpoint for the different stages, right? Of the project. Yeah.
And there was something that you delivered, or it made it feel like, oh, this is part of the process, not just like, oh yeah, some guy or some girl is just like putting some stuff together and like fired over in an email. You know? That's like, so.
I love that.
I also think genuinely, like, I mean, Joy, you were just saying, I think like a slide or two ago, I know it comes across like really, really easy. Like it is easy, but if you don't do it, you can't go back and redo it if you've left the client in a state where they feel on shaky ground in their relationship with you. So, I mean, like, I work with clients every day, and like, this stuff is just like, if you don't get it right at the beginning, if you don't make the right impressions really, really quickly, you leave, like, it's really difficult to like backtrack and make up that ground again, you know? Like, if you do a design they don't like, you redo the design, but in terms of how they feel and respond to like the progress of the project, it's really a one-time deal, and you have to have it down. So I'm just sorry, I'm like pretty pumped about everything. I'm really pumped about this presentation.
Awesome. That's so awesome. So I don't know if you've heard of Markup. I found it. I was on a Webflow forum, Facebook forum, and somebody mentioned it, and it's really new. So it's in beta. It's 100% free. I just love it because I was looking for a solution to a problem that I was having, and this showed up, and it's super Webflow friendly. They even have Webflow in the in their set here. So basically what it is, it's an app that you can add a live hyperlink, you can add a PDF or a image, and anyone can log in and collaborate and add comments. It's real time, so when you update your website or upload new images, your customers can see them in real time. They can see animations, things like that. So it's perfect for reviewing websites and getting accurate comments and deliverables from your customers in real time. So before Markup, I'll just show you, I was doing a Google Docs because it's free and it's, you know, collaborative, and they have access to it too. So what I would do is I would create a screenshot and I would say, all right, this needs to be done, or what do you think of this? And then I would literally mark it off in a doc. And my customer was actually really, depending on the customer type, how tech savvy they were, it was actually kind of confusing for them. Some of my customers that maybe weren't as tech savvy thought that it would instantly automatically update and didn't realize that I had to upload a new screenshot, or it just was really hard to capture updates and things like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually uploading websites into Markup. So here's a website that I did recently. And this kind of has some of our past markups with the customer. So now the project is done, it's complete, so the design's done. But you can see where all these other markups were. And now the design was different at the time because it evolved. But you can see this is her services page, and it's perfect for saying, oh, I want to change copy. So if they don't have access to the editor, you can go in and update the copy, or if they have a comment on like layouts or interactions, things like that, they can provide that right there. And what I always do with my customers is I set a precedent of, all right, so we're going to start with your home page and like your contact page. And then I tell them to go into Markup and review those pages. And I tell them to not look at any of the other pages because those are still in process. So whatever your process is, you just have to client manage with your customer and kind of cue them into when you want them to review. They can receive notifications, and you'll receive notifications when they've added a comment. So that can also be really helpful. Another process that I do, I used to have customers look at their phone when we were in mobile optimization stage. You can also have them take a look at it in Markup. For mobile, obviously you would do your own more in-depth testing on your end, but for a customer, this is perfect. They can see how it would look. It's not 100% accurate all the time, but as far as mobile, it does a really good job, I think. So this is why I absolutely loved it. You can also upload Loom videos directly to comments, which is insane. So I think Kyle was saying, oh, it would be great if you created like an intro video and like, hey, here's your project. And you could pre-record it and stick it to a project. So I've started to do that. I think that's a great idea if you wanted to kind of automate things.
I said that?
I thought we talked about that, but maybe not. We were thinking
I
about,
don't know. Maybe I did. I say a lot of stuff, so I probably.
here's a wireframe that is you can see it's a PNG file of a different website concept. It's okay. So say you were doing your concepts in Figma and you wanted to upload a PDF, you could do that. You can add new ones here. But it is easier just to have like the live website because you can see like the interactions and just kind of how everything works.
Can you talk about and maybe you were getting to this, so I apologize if I'm jumping the gun here.
No, you're good.
You talked about when we met that you had said to give people instant that, so they've paid me, they've signed, and normally what happens is people pay and they sign or they put a down payment and then it's like, okay, well, let's meet in a week to chat and then I'll create some stuff, and it's like a couple weeks before they get anything. And
Right.
so you said I've started sending this right away, and can you talk about that a little bit? Because I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so I call this a welcome discovery kit, and there's a couple different things. So you could do this through like a customer management system or through like an email, like a Flowdesk or like a MailChimp or something like that, and have it look a little bit more polished and refined. I actually don't mind doing it through email because it's really personal, and it just, I have that really direct connection with my customers. But basically what I do is once they pay the bill, I get them to start working right away. And that helps me to start working on their project as well. So what I need to know is I need to start collecting assets, and I need to start understanding what the project is as far as like maybe the design, look and feel, if they don't already have a brand or something set in place. So I'll connect them to a place where they can drop all their assets. I'll have folders for them where I want them to place particular projects if I know what type of project it is. If I think the customer needs to provide discovery questions, I'll have that set up. Or sometimes I'll do a visual Pinterest discovery exercise. But what I do here, and you can see I'm kind of communicating to them and introducing them to Markup, is I say, all right, now take a look at your existing website, go through your pages. You can do it with one hyperlink and have them browse to the other ones. But if they're not tech savvy, you can create a markup for each of the pages. And I have them go in and actually basically review their own website. So this is great because you find out little pieces of information that you didn't know about your customer, how they felt about the website. Or if it's a team, say it's a board, you're going to be getting multiple comments, and sometimes they will counteract each other. So then you have to kind of like unpack that and figure out what is the actual solution, or who's the hierarchy of where that is going to go. So this is an example more so like a smaller, this is a before website that I'm working on currently. And then, so that's kind of like the first thing. And then if I want to go above and beyond and understand what it is that the customer wants from a look and feel standpoint, I'll do like a separate website discovery exercise. So what this is I take, Webflow has all those amazing templates that you can look at, and they're great for basically communicating style and functionality to a customer that may not understand the terminology or how to explain what it is that they're actually trying to achieve. So I'll go in and I'll say, all right, here are 11 links. I want you to go in and provide your feedback and just tell me what you're thinking. Do you like the way that it flows? Do you like the navigation on the top? Do you like this font? Tell me what it is about this website that you're liking or disliking. And after this process, I get a really good idea of what my customer wants. And then I don't have to put all the extra time into building a wireframe, find out that they hate that font or they hate the logo in the center. I just know right out of the gate without putting any extra time or investment into communicating with the customer. And the customer likes this process because it's kind of fun. But like I just kind of spewed out a lot, but that's what I do with this discovery. And the templates are great because they're free and it's design that they can look at. And you don't have to use the templates, but it just kind of is a good starting point.
I mean, you could even, let's say, so you've got 11 links there, just like spitballing. You could, and let me back up. So much of this stuff about like, have a great, like turn your prospect into an advocate. Like so much of it is like defining the process and then like committing to it and then improving upon it. And that, which takes a lot of time. Right. So what I'm about to say is gonna like takes time, but
Yeah.
you could almost create like your own sample site, right? So you create a sample site that's got, I don't know, 8 web pages or 8 pages on that little sample site. And then page 1, you're like, let's talk about navigation. And then you have built out a couple different navigation items. And then it's like, go to the next page. And then page 2 is, hero styles or fonts or colors or something. And you send them that markup and they just go through your one site commenting on all the different pages, So
Right.
I guess what I'm
Right.
saying is like this markup tool is great because, and the way you're using it is fantastic because you're getting like actual feedback from people like right away so that they are getting that instant gratification, which
Right.
I thought was
The other great thing about it is that it's documenting everything that your customer says. So from an architecture and design background, we had to write down absolutely everything because obviously with anything, you can get in trouble for stuff if a customer is like, oh, that's not what I said, or you have to redo it. You're actually able to document, oh, well, the customer asked you to change that. It's in a markup. And so it's just a better way for everyone to remember what they're saying, if that makes sense. You don't have to take notes because it's all right there and they can do it at night. They can do it on their own time. I used to get on a Zoom call and we would scroll through websites together with my customer and it would lag and it would jump and I'd be like, did you see that animation? Did you catch that? What'd you think? And it just didn't work. They didn't get it. It was like glossy eyes. So I don't know, just completely abandoned that. And Markup was helpful in kind of evolving that. And there'll be something new that helps with the customer management side of things. But
so you had me thinking when you talked about like, so we've got this Google Drive folder and here's checklist 1, and here's what you got to do this. And I'm trying to collect assets. There's a tool that I just pasted in the chat that I've played around with called ClassDoc. And basically what you do is you create a, I'm sorry, first off, Joy, thank you. Second off, do you have any more slides? Are you finished? I don't want to,
nope.
I don't want to jump into like the discussion portion of this before you're done. I don't want to hijack anything.
No, I'm the person that likes to be behind the scenes. So even presenting something as simple as that is not my favorite thing. So I'm very happy to pass the baton.
You did a fantastic job. Thank you for helping us and for sharing your
Yep.
tips. Because having seen it firsthand, I thought it was really impressive. I was like, God, I gotta level up my game. So that was great. Anyway, ClassDoc is this thing. So you go and you create a template. You're like, okay, so every time with a new client, I need their logo files. I need their colors. I need existing fonts. I need to know who do I send the invoices to? Who's like the main point of contact? I want them to do this markup thing. You've got like 10 things that you need every client to do. And ClassDoc.com is basically that you go and you create a template and then you get to define the steps. And then what happens is when you have a new customer, you say, you go into ClassDoc, you basically duplicate this template for this customer and this customer gets like an invite. It's like, all right, great. I've got 8 things that I need you to do. It's super simple. And then they go in and it's like, when they finish a step, like who's the main point of contact? It's Mark. Check, here's Mark's email. Check. Can you upload your logo file? Check. They did that, and so they can go through and know that they are, they're finished with everything. And so that I was just thinking that might be one thing and then markup becomes one piece of that experience. And then it's like, go and give us your feedback on our, are on these sites, right? On this markup site. And then they go do that, check, they, finished. So,
Right. Oh, another thing that's been really helpful. So someone talked about working with other contractors. So I work with a contractor that does specifically website copy for my customers if they choose to purchase that package. And what I do is I once I get hosting, I do hosting for all my customers and utilize the client billing. Is I give one of those editor seats to my copywriter, and then they come in a week or two before launch, and they come in and clean up all the copy. Then I cue the customer or customers to hop into Markup and say, hey, our copywriter just went in, they updated the copy. Will you please review it and give them a week? And then they know at that deadline that they need to review it and approve it. And then we can say, all right, the copywriter's off the project. We've checked off all the markups. It's done. So it's kind of like you can utilize it as much as you want. It's just amazing how it's able to do that live kind of updates.
When do you give your clients access to Webflow?
After the copywriter, if they are in there. Sometimes it just depends on if they're dragging ass on the copy and they don't have a copywriter. I'll get them in, and then I'll do a whole demo with them on how to use the editor, because I'll build custom CMS pages and forms based on whatever they need. So I'll walk them through that. If I don't have time, I'll record a loom of their editor, and then I'll send them a video of how to use their editor. And then they can always go back and review it maybe a month later if it takes them that long to actually hop into the editor and make an update or whatever.
Do you ask for recommendations?
Yeah, so after a project is done, they paid, I sent them all if they have any extra files or anything like that, I say, thank you so much. It was so awesome to work with you. If you want to leave a positive review, here's a link to my Google. And so I do that. And my customers they really like working with me. They say it throughout the entire process. And so I just know that they're going to give me a positive review. So that's kind of where I've gotten those. If you ask, your customers want you to succeed. They want you to have a positive review. Because you spent that extra time and you invested in giving them something that's even better than they imagined, or if you get to that point or whatever. But that might also be my market too. My market is very passionate, and there are other creatives for the most part. So
you ask for reviews. You don't necessarily ask for, like, do you have anyone that that is like a referral?
So I say I'm always open to referrals. So the other day, one of my customers, this is where I was talking about like the ripple effect. I just finished a branding website project for an interior designer, and her boyfriend is in carpet cleaning. The carpet cleaning business has the worst website ever. She's like, oh my gosh, can I send him? So now we're doing a whole new project with him. And that was a week after I just finished the project with her. So that was one case. I have one customer, because of her one website, since she's active on Facebook, in her Facebook community, her one website, I've gotten 8 different clients just from people seeing her website and saying, oh, I want to be as good as this designer, or I want my portfolio to look like this designer, and they wonder who did it. So that's why I have like the site credit, or if you ask my customer, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Joy did it, that kind of thing, because they want to advocate for you. They're proud of their project. They're proud of what they have. And so they want to kind of spread the love, I guess, if that makes sense.
Do you put your website on the bottom of all your sites?
It depends. I didn't at the beginning, but if you start to look at other sites that are other companies that start to take over a market. So for example, we have a local company that has the market on craft beer labels, which I'd love to get into, or they do a lot of architecture websites, which I should be able to get into. You see their name at the bottom. So when another architect is at that customer buying stage of, oh, I need to update my website, they will look at other architect websites and they will see who did their website, and then they'll just go with them because they don't want to bother with trying to vet out all these different other firms. They want to go with who their
So
competition is using.
is that cooked into your contract, or is that just something you do? Is that something?
I ask and I say, is it okay? And if they don't want it on there, I make it subtle, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious here. So now you've launched the website, you're doing their hosting, they know to go to you because you're their person, but 6 months passes, 8 months passes. They don't need updates to their website, because they handle it, or it's just a little website and they're not doing. Do you do anything ongoing after the launch to like stay in front of your customers to try to still provide, since you are doing the hosting and you're doing the client billing, are you doing anything throughout the year to keep them interested?
So a lot of my customers, they follow each other. So I encourage my customers to support each other's businesses and kind of grow their community. So as new websites come out, they'll see an update maybe on my Facebook page or on their Facebook page, and then they'll go check out their website. And maybe there's like a feature that we did, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I want to do that on my site, or I want to do something like that. So sometimes that will spark a couple like emails after I do a launch saying, oh, I love what you did on so-and-so. Can we use that? Because I'll have like a half an hour available if needed, depending on what type of packet hosting support package they have, because my whole thing with getting into website design and development is to provide value to the customers and to create something that was going to actually work for their business and be something that they could update and actually utilize. So I try not to leave anyone out on an island and just kind of hand it over without them knowing what to do with it, or without being available at some point to help them if they need. So that's why I do kind of like a monthly support, because it keeps the customer happy.
Leading up to their renewal? Are you doing anything to like, hey, your renewal's coming up, just want to let you know, I assuming, do you have most people on an annual, or are they monthly?
So I just do a markup, or my fee on top of whatever Webflow has, depending on their hosting package. And I do that because I'm not, I don't know, I really trust their servers, and I haven't had any issues with their servers. So I can know that my customer is not going to have any issues. And I like their editor and their backup, all that stuff.
So one of the things that I'm trying to get better at, and I do it a little bit. So after for not to talk about me, but if anyone else wants to chime in, feel free to.
Yeah, that's what I want to make sure everyone is getting a chance to talk to.
So after I complete a project, I send a handwritten note, and I've got some like swag that I bought that I think is actually kind of cool. It's like nice, like it's like, like nice insulated things that just have like my, logo on, and it's not gaudy. Like, it's not like, it's stuff that's like subtle. It's just a little mark so that they might still want to use it. Anyway, so I send that right after. They get that maybe a week or 3 after. Then what I want to do, when I want to get better at, is like 6 months after, like midway through the year, or quarterly or something, just like send out like a personal email. And I've done this before. It's not as automated as I'd like, but to be like, hey, we're halfway through the year. Things are looking good on your website. Here's maybe a few stats on their traffic. If, reaching out to like offer, like, if you have any questions, I know we had talked, if I've written down some stuff that's like features they wanted to build. I know you guys were talking about wanting to do something like that. Still happy to add that to your site. Just let me know. But it's just like a soft, like, hey, don't forget about me. Or I don't actually care if they forget about me. I don't want to be the guy though that shows up, 11 months. You haven't heard from me for 11 months, and then your website's about to renew, and you've paid me my my service fee on top that you just haven't used, and now I'm charging you again. So I want to, it's like almost a way to encourage them to use my service.
Yeah.
So that's something that I do. I was also thinking about doing, I know bigger companies do this, but sending out some sort of like a holiday card, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the
Like
providing
big
hosting
picture of
services.
Kyle.
Just
Yeah.
growing a mustache, you know, maybe growing my hair out
Oh,
and
you're
then just
doing.
shaving this part of my head so I look like a friar.
So do you ask them for their company address like in the beginning or something? And how do you go about that without sounding like a stalker weirdo?
Well, one of the things that I will do.
Yeah, tell me where you live.
Yeah. Well, actually, you'd be surprised. So generally my clients are, if you say, hey, I've got like a gift that I'd like to, I always, I'll say something like, if with COVID, everyone was working from home, right? So it was like, hey, I would say, hey, I generally like to send out a little thank you gift. Now that congratulations on your launch. This is really exciting. You should be really proud of all the great work you've done. As a little congratulations gift, I'd like to send you something in the mail. Is there like an office address or what's a good address for me to send you a little gift in the mail? No one has ever been like, hey, stop, don't send me a gift.
Stop.
That's
So,
awesome.
That makes sense.
And I think if you like throw out like, is there an office address that I could send something to, or, I don't want, and you could even don't want to feel like weird that I'm asking for your home address, but generally at that point, people know you, as well, to know that you're legit.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
From a business point of view, I don't know what it's like in the States, but here in Canada, it's like technically for the tax department, an invoice should have your address on it, but it should also have their business address, right?
Yeah.
It's part of just, so for me, that's part of the questions that I'm asking, some of the information that I'm gathering at the very beginning is just all of that business information,
How do you gather that, Penny?
Sometimes just by asking them, just as I'm, in an early conversation, just, okay, so I just need to gather, your business information, what's your address, and I'm not usually thinking about it in terms of people working from home. It's like you're running a business, right? Whether you're running it from home or somewhere else. I don't care about your, it's like, I'm not coming to see your house. I'm coming to work with your business, right? Or it'll sometimes be in an Excel doc or like a Google Doc or something like that I have them fill out.
How many people like I don't know if I can't see all your faces, but like do you all have CRMs?
Yeah.
I don't. You do?
I need to. I use my my Apple Notes. It's so terrible.
So how many? So Diego,
well,
how many
maybe-
clients? How many clients?
Sorry.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is just for my leads, like my warm leads that I've like talked to and stuff. And I have 11 in the pipeline right now. But in terms of past clients, I don't have anything.
Yeah. I mean, I probably have like 15 or 20, so it's not, and you do.
I can kind of memorize it right now in my head, but I'm sure as like things grow, then I probably need, something.
Yeah, I started using WHMCS years ago. So that's the hosting software. That's the software that a lot of hosts use because I wasn't sending out domain renewal invoices, things like that were sort of like come up once a year. And all of a sudden I'd be going like, oh, shoot, I haven't billed that person for their domain for like 2 years. Oh, well, I guess I'll just eat that, right? And it was like, because I don't want to go back to somebody that much later because they don't like it. Right. So it was like, okay, I need to find an automated system that will do this for me. The other thing about it is that I can connect it to my server if I want to have it automatically set up, their hosting project or their hosting space, but I don't tend to use that a lot. But, all those recurring type invoices, hosting invoices, things like that, it just makes it so easy and it sends out reminders and things like that.
So you said it was WHMC.
WHMCS. If you've ever gotten an invoice from a host or something like that, and it's up in the top right corner, it'll have like a red slash that says unpaid, or when you would have paid it, it says paid in green. That's WHMCS. It's like that's their sort of standard invoice layout. If you
So do you not use client billing in Webflow?
No, I build them directly, partly because I'm in Canada, so I don't want all of the all of the IRS stuff involved in that. And it's like, I'm building them, I pay Webflow. And so I add a little, I mark up the Webflow cost, but it's like, you're paying me for your hosting. It means I'm responsible for them, but I'm comfortable with that because
okay. So you host on Webflow, but then you just okay. I see.
Yeah, exactly. I still use the Webflow hosting. I'm hosting them through my own account, right?
Yep.
If I wanted to, I could set them up in their own account and eventually hand it over to them. But most of my clients are so unsavvy that it's just safer to just not give them access to the editor at all, because it would just be bad.
And then you said you managed it in an Excel file?
No, I manage all of that through this WHMCS.
They've got they've
program.
got a CMS as well.
Well, it's essentially, it's got all of the information about them and then all of the billing stuff and whatnot and the domain renewals and all. It's all in one place.
Nice.
But I pay through for it, every month. So I have been for about 9 years. So, but it makes such a huge difference for me.
Was it what? Rachel, you said you were using a CMS. What one?
For technically Lenker has a company CRM, right?
Excuse me, CRM. I'm saying CMS. I mean CRM. Yes, yeah. You're absolutely right.
Actually, I initially misunderstood the question because I feel like I work in CRMs every single day, but that's because we offer it as a product for the client actually to set up a CRM for them so that the integrations that kind of work in tandem with the website and any forms that you have on the website are kind of working alongside the technological, we call it the tech stack, but anything CRM related so that you can kind of build that infrastructure and that ecosystem and kind of tie everything together. So that's a service that we offer, and it's kind of a base service we offer. We actually don't make websites without building CRM components that kind of work alongside that. So yes, Lenker has its own CRM account. I've never used it or looked at it, but I look at everybody else's.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think it's because our sales team uses it more than the project managers would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted to ask though. I heard Penny, you were just saying that you don't like to give clients access to the editor. And I actually kind of wanted to get an idea of people's thoughts on that, because on the one hand, Lenker manages websites on behalf of the client and gets a fee for it. And so from that respect, we like to not hand off, the ability to go in and fiddle around to the client as long as we are responsible and we're being paid to stay responsible for the site. Would anyone have a reason not to give access to the editor, like in any other context? There's like also different arguments for it. We had conversations about the idea that if you build out text that's built for SEO and it's SEO optimized, and clients aren't familiar with that context, they'll be like, oh, I don't like that phrase. They'll change it. They'll compromise the site without even realizing it. How much do these questions, I don't know. It's kind of an open question because there are some on the team, Dustin, who feel very strongly that the editor should not be made an option for any client. But clients are always itching to be able to get in and move things around and change things, they really want to be involved a lot of the time.
That's only because I have to clean up the mess after they go in there and break the stuff and then complain about it being broken. So then I have to go in and clean it up.
Yep.
So I may have misspoken. When I give them access to the editor, I don't give them access to the designer.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Yep.
So I don't mess, because they would have no idea.
Yeah.
Truly.
They'd be breaking stuff.
Oh my gosh.
They don't want to know, right?
Even
They
in the
do or
editor, though,
don't.
they can do a little bit of damage. I mean, like Rachel was saying, they mess up, the finely crafted SEO phrases you've put in there, or, they turn your 1-line header into 3 lines and all of a sudden your hero's out of whack and, all that kind of stuff too. So
The
Yeah.
thing I find is that I've
But
set
it's
up
their
my
website.
design and there's clearly 3 square images there. And so I'm like, oh yeah, so these are square, and I set it up, and then they come in and they've got like one super long or like and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, okay,
Oh,
I've got to fix that. Yeah. So they find where all the images, I haven't properly like constrained the images. They found that.
Look for them.
That's what I learned that too, because if you don't create the blocks correctly, if they add an image and it doesn't crop, it's going to blow up your design in the editor.
Yep.
So I learned that too, because I would see that was kind of some of my first websites, and I'm still kind of learning that, some of those things you need to make sure you're doing, but that and teaching my customers how to use the editor has been really helpful, because then they come to me less often throughout the month or the year for updates, but it's really as needed. So maybe they'll do 1 update or 2 updates a year, but they're still paying for that fee, which, I mean, it really is that added value, just to be able to, email me and say, hey, can you check on this? Or I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'm doing stuff maybe I shouldn't I don't know about you guys, but if your customers are getting like those spam, like through the forums, like, oh my gosh, like I get a lot of those. Joy, is this a spam? Is this a phishing? It's like, oh my gosh. And I'm doing their CAPTCHA, all that stuff. So
The one I've been getting
management, right?
or
Have you guys-
managing email accounts or something like that, stuff you're
Yeah.
not supposed to be doing.
Right. You become their,
Yeah.
yes.
The one I've been getting recently is someone saying, I've looked on your site and you are using my copyrighted images.
Mhm.
And all my clients are getting them, and it's
I've gotten that several times.
Yeah. I got the same problem.
Okay.
I
That's
tell my
cap.
customers, yeah, good.
So different question. Speaking of editor, do you ever have issues where you are in there designing the site, you're doing your thing, and you've also given your client access, or you have another person on your team that you work with, something, they're editing the copy, maybe swapping out images, they're doing their thing, you're in there designing, and now there's like Webflow gets lost, and now stuff gets lost? Because I've had that. And so it has gotten to the point where I will sometimes, if I know I'm going to be making lots of updates to a site, I'm like still building out a few pages or still active, I will tell them like, hey, I know I wanted you to get in early so that you can start to see it and add copy, but I'm going to be in there this afternoon. So if you could just like give me a couple hours, that might just prevent us from losing work. Have you guys run into that at all? Or
You can see like who's in it. So so if I see that a customer is in there, sometimes I'll shoot them an email. Like if it's that exact
Get out.
scenario, like be like, hey, just want to make sure you saved, or if make sure you're using Chrome with your editor, or that you don't have 2 tabs open and you're writing a blog post and you didn't save, stuff like that. Because then the customer is like, oh my God, my thing's gone, But
So that did you see the announcement that Webflow now has this sort of teamworky thing? Has anybody tried it out, and what do you think?
It's for like the teams account. So like if you just
So it
have like,
doesn't work with clients.
yeah, if you have like the light or like the $40 one a month, you don't have access to that.
Okay.
So that kind of sucks.
do you use that for your contractors? Do you use that as part of your work?
So I'm barely in the process of getting those subcontractors, so I have no idea yet how that's gonna go. Actually, I never even thought about it. But I think I'm just gonna let them handle the whole project, and then I'll check it time to time, maybe in the live preview, to kind of see how everything's looking there. But it's actually a good point. You probably should think about that.
One of the things that I did, I had all my client sites under my personal account,
Yeah.
And then I started realizing like, oh, there was like a situation where I wanted to work with, I had like an SEO guy I wanted to work with or something. And he was kind of interested in Webflow, even though he's never come to our meetup. And yeah, so I was like, oh, I'll get a team account and then you can join and then we'll like work on the site together. He's never joined, but I ended up creating a team account and then I've put all of my new clients in there. So it's a little, one thing to note. So when you have your sites in your personal account, if you also have a team account, you can't just like move a project. You can't just be like, oh, that was in my personal account. Just move that to my team account and then we're great because you can like transfer ownership. No, if you move a project, you have to actually go back into the DNS and change the settings, or there's stuff you have to change. And so as a result, I have like half of my clients in my personal account, half of them in my team account, because I haven't wanted to go through the rigmarole of updating them. And so it's what I would say, Diego, is it's better to start now so that you don't end up with just a ton of clients on your personal account, but then you want to collaborate in the future with your team, but now you've got to go back to, so I would start now. The other thing,
the team account.
What with the team account, I would start now with the team account. You do have to, it is more money. If you end up, the other thing that sucks about the way that I've done it, it's a expensive rake that I've stepped on, is that because you can't transfer it over, I've kept both. So I have a team account and a personal account. So I'm paying basically the $84 a month for the team account. And I'm paying the, what is it, like 32 or something for the personal account. So I'm effectively paying for like 3 accounts, because the team is effectively 2 and the personal is 1. So I'm effectively paying for 3 accounts, but I didn't want to. So anyway, I think they in their announcement video that they talked about with this whole collaboration, they're going to try to solve this problem. I don't know if they're going to, I think they're probably going to solve it like moving forward. I don't know if they're necessarily retroactively solve the problem with the sites that are, but.
And from what I've seen too with the collaboration thing, people were a little upset because they were really excited because it sounded like, oh, we can have multiple people in the designer at once working, which you can have multiple people in there. I actually just experienced it today. Our owner was in a project and I went in and I'm like, where is my tree? Why can't I click on anything? And I realized I'm allowed into the designer, but up on the top, it says John is currently editing and you can request access. Whereas before you tried to log into one that someone was in, you couldn't even get into the designer view. It would say this person's doing it. So it's not really letting you 2 people design. It's just letting you see the designer while you're in there, which could be all right for collaboration if you're just checking out what's going on, I suppose. But people were felt a bit misled because they were expecting multiple people to be able to design at the same time.
It feels like a gesture step rather than something that's tangibly useful, because I mean we figured this out early on. I was like, I really need to like look at this design, and you were like, oh, just log into the editor. You can be at the editor and look at what's going on whilst I'm in the designer. So it sounds like that didn't really progress, but it also sounds like they've moved like one step along in the process of making the whole collaboration thing happen. But I hope that they didn't advertise that too excitedly, because it sounds underwhelming.
Well, and to like having contractors and stuff like that. The other feature that I'm just waiting for something is being able to assign projects to a contractor, like on the Teams account. If I don't want to, like, let's say I hire a new contractor to do a site, I don't necessarily want him having access to all of the sites in our account.
Permissions. Yeah.
I would like to add him to the team and say, he can use this project and he can do this project or this folder even, or something.
I think they teased that.
Nice. Yeah.
They teased that because there's new tiers of permission that are coming. I think do they have that in the enterprise level that none of us are maybe on right now, but they teased that. So.
I actually sent a message about the enterprise because they had teased something. I saw some ad about their various integrations with like ActiveCampaign, and we used ActiveCampaign. So I was curious. And I got back the most sales pitchy, uninformative email I could imagine. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll find out more later.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably better actually posting in like the Webflow
Yeah.
Slack channels, the Webflow community channels, and waiting for people to kind of jump in, because actually there's a lot of people on those and they really are active.
Out of curiosity, anyone planning on going to No Code Conf?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, I was gonna do a login. Maybe. You're going there in person?
Penny, you're like you're a community staple.
Penny, come on.
What?
Why you're shaking
I'm
your head
not
like,
going if Penny's not going.
I want to go. It's like I want to go so much, right? I mean, like the FOMO is killing me. I will go to the online version, but I can't afford to go to in person. But I've met so many people, like, because I spend a lot of time on live streams and in meetings with people, and I, many of whom are going, or I expect will go. And I would so very much love to go, but I can't justify it. My husband's still in the business and he still does some work, but I get the money out of it. So I can't spend his little bit. So I have
we got to find you a project. We got to find you a high paying project. You finish it up.
Really big one. Yeah.
I've been seeing you, Penny. I think it's you on the Automate All the Things weekly stream.
Yep, that's me. Anytime you hear Penny anywhere, it's almost always me.
For those of you who aren't, so Aaron Kornblatt, I don't personally know him, but he does this Automate All the Things. It's primarily an Airtable. Yeah, it's Airtable heavy. But he does a weekly stream, and actually he's just started the first weekly stream of the month, which is tomorrow because he does it on Wednesdays. It's just like a no code chat with another guy named Connor. Yeah. So that's tomorrow. I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah. I forgot that tomorrow was Connor. So
yeah.
Two lovely Canadian folks.
Right.
Yeah, Aaron's in Montreal and Connor's recently moved here from New Zealand.
Where is he located?
In Ottawa. So he's actually just a couple hours away from me here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see the new Chrome extension from FinSuite?
Oh my God.
That is insane.
Oh, tell me about it. I don't know anything about it.
It is insane. All right.
It's pretty amazing.
Share your screen.
Well,
yeah, it's like
did they actually release it yet?
Swatches? Not yet.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when. You can rearrange swatches, 301 bulk uploads. You can change or move your classes around in the CSS. Hold on, let me actually get all the things.
There's so many things you're going to be.
Yeah, there's so many things they're going to have in there.
I want to see if I can.
It's like they're the Webflow product team.
They're doing what the Webflow product team should.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with them.
Yeah,
they just got $100 million. I don't know what's going on with them.
No, well, they're not doing this stuff. FinSuite's doing all this stuff for free.
I don't know how to make you a. Can you present, Diego?
Yeah. All right.
I've used the extension that the JetBoost guy made.
JetBoost, yeah.
Yep.
You know, where basically the one I like is that it brings. Does it bring the your DOM tree to the top? That's what I like about it.
Does, yeah.
So you can reorder interactions, symbols, swatches, and styles, access components and pre-built design elements. You can remove large breakpoints if you accidentally add it.
What?
Add bulk. Yeah. Add bulk through.
And actually remove them, not just hide them.
Yep.
Yeah, it like actually takes them away. Let's see. I'm trying to see if they have any like text about it. Yeah, it's pretty insane though. Like they have so much stuff, and
they
they're
have
like
a few things coming. Like they have their little table of what's coming, like weekly, and they've got like the search and replace classes, the sitemap generators, like that kind of thing you were talking about. Merging styles, that one will be nice. Vertical canvas resizing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're crazy.
How many times do I see my phone that's like 3 times the height of a phone, and I'm like, oh, I wonder where the where the fold is. Oh,
Yeah. Or when you go and you're checking Google Search Console and it's like, why is that page being indexed?
right. Oh, you
Yeah.
You'll be able to actually create your own sitemap.
can.
Yeah. You'll be able to have
So
sitemap to.
Yeah.
Let's
let's
just
see what
talk all.
else.
Hey, idea next Minneapolis chapter Webflow meetup. Let's just talk all about the FinSuite Chrome extension.
Yeah.
That would be
So
awesome.
yeah, because I have like OCD, like not really, but kind of. And so like you can like rearrange your color swatches, your symbols, interactions, and yeah, your
So-
CSS styles.
So how does FinSuite make money? I understand that they're an agency, so they make
They
websites.
charge a lot of money for their work.
Yeah, they don't make money on this stuff. I think they're trying to like put a few different things out for free to get clout and like attention and stuff, and then they're gonna start putting out paid products.
Well, I mean,
But yeah,
at some
they
point,
charge so
Webflow
much.
At some point, Webflow has to monetarily acknowledge the fact that they're kind of fueling areas of the company that are lacking. I reckon they're just gonna like hold them in a vice in a year's time. They'll be like, hey, have you noticed that we do a million things that are amazing for Webflow?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, they're working
Yeah.
on this whole Webflow Community Alliance. They're working, they're sort of pitching to Webflow to basically kind of take over the Webflow community.
Oh yeah, and then they
because
get
they're
like an
so
allowance or
unhappy
something, right?
with- yeah, yeah.
So
Put on events and stuff.
So they came out with Noble, their Airtable Webflow syncing. Has anyone ever used Power Importer?
I've heard of
No,
it multiple times, but I haven't
about
used it.
yeah.
Speaking of the power of FinSuite, I've heard of Power Importer several times and then never had the motivation to use it. And then Noble comes out and was like, "Oh, I need to hook up my Webflow with Airtable. I'll just use it." Like,
Yeah, power import. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm just looking it up.
Noble or Power Importer?
Power importer.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try it and tell us what it's like, because I've done the Noble one, and you can sync multi-reference fields. You can do all. It's cool. But
Yeah, I need to check that one out because the new client or the new project that I'm working on is like, I don't know, 80 blog posts to pull over.
Dang.
And normally I do like a CSV import, but it's like that still leaves so much to be desired that I want to find a better way to do it.
I've done that by hand and it blows because a lot of times the whatever images they've uploaded, they won't extract. And you have to open them up in like Paint to actually, I don't know. So yeah, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
does Power Importer pull the photos from other blogs to do the migrations? I've never had to migrate a site I've never had to migrate a big site.
I usually put everything up into AWS and make it all public and then pull it from there because it has to be publicly accessible. And I haven't tried it with like a regular website. I was actually trying something and I was having a hard time. But
So when you make it publicly accessible on AWS, are you then downloading those into like a local folder or like a cloud folder or something, and then bringing them into Webflow? Or you are automating that?
Basically from whatever site I'm on, I'm downloading all of the content and then I upload the photos or once they're ready to go, if I need to do any adjustment to them, I upload those to AWS and then in my spreadsheet, my CSV that I'm going to use to import,
Yes.
I connect to the AWS URLs and then it just pulls them over. So then once they're uploaded to AWS, it's a straight direct AWS to Webflow. Much easier.
I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We said 9. I know it's fun having people in Canada and LA, and we had Maryland and with Abdallah. I mean, we've got Iowa, Minnesota. I mean, this is great.
You guys are popular.
I'm loving this. I think I love having you. Diego, thank you for coming. Penny, as always, thank you. Joy, you did a fantastic job.
Thanks.
Rachel, you're the best. We're gonna meet up again in maybe 4 weeks. Do one of these again, get our energy going. Maybe we'll talk about FinSuite's Chrome extension.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, definitely yes, because it's a really cool topic. I actually, I really enjoy, not that I don't appreciate that getting these cool external speakers in to like talk about things we should know about. Like, that's all really well and cool, but I love having the familiar faces who we know from our 30-second intros expand out and become like more knowable and understand where people are coming from and like what brought them to the meetings and why they're still at the meetings, you know, because at this point we've got a few people who are kind of coming around more than once, and it's like so wonderful. I just want to know you all better. So I would like to keep going, you know, like Joy very wonderfully agreed to speak this week, and I ran it past Corey. He's been here like 3 or 4 weeks in a row now, and I think Corey's like on the agenda, but you know, anyone else who's willing to put themselves out there and kind of just show what they do and why they do it to the group, let's make a calendar, and I love you all.
I would love to hear Penny talk us through some of her more complex Webflow projects, because I feel like you're doing some really crazy stuff. And
Wow.
I want to know how
Okay.
Canadian
I just,
Webflow
you know, when
works.
you're talking about pulling from AWS and you're doing, I'm like, there's
I
some,
didn't even
you've
think
done
about
some
AWS.
stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I don't think of it as being that exciting because it's not fabulous design work. It's usually kind of boxes, but it's I don't know. I like.
But it's what we all
things
do.
together.
Facts.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And Diego, I would love to see some of your, I mean, I want to see, like I second what Rachel's saying. So,
Right.
Yeah, we'll follow.
Yeah, I
up.
put my Twitter if you guys have Twitter, so we can stay in touch and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, Diego, it was cool to meet you because I've been seeing your name around and people talking about you. And
Oh, wow.
Colleen was sharing something in our Floxies group. If you haven't heard of Floxies, there's a women's Webflow group, and about you looking for designers and developers. So you may have some inquiries there.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Curiosity. Yeah, out of curiosity, Diego, how did which was the avenue that got you here today?
Colleen's tweet, actually. She tweeted about it.
Did she? Oh my goodness, I love Colleen. I love everyone.
Yeah, she's the best.
People are so nice and wonderful.
Yeah,
I didn't
she
even
tweeted
ask
about
you
it,
to
and
do
then I
that.
was
She
like,
just did
okay.
it.
And then, because I've been meaning to come to these type of events, but I always miss them because either in the morning, I always like sleep in, and something like that. So, but this one was like at a better time, so I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Like, so much for swinging by. I always worry it's like kind of intimidating to just like hop in and see how things are, particularly on Zoom where you're like a little bit more in the, I don't know, screen real estate. You take up a lot of it.
Yeah.
Joy, thank you very much. That was a lovely presentation, and I
it was. Thank you.
I loved seeing that you know, especially that sort of initial process that you go through. I think it was really interesting, and not everybody sort of goes into that much depth. It's kind of like, okay, so you get the client and
yeah,
you know, whereas this was excellent to sort of see a little bit more of that
Webflow
process.
It's totally transformed my business, and it's provided such a great product for my customers. That's why they keep coming back. So it's crazy. I'm very passionate about it. I can't wait to learn more. It's awesome.
Yeah. Is this going to be posted somewhere? So I can like review the presentation again?
Oh,
yeah, you know, a couple of people asked me that after the last one as well. I need to figure out, I don't know if anyone has some suggestions, because I mean, this is organized in my personal Zoom account, so I have the downloads available. And you know, if people have suggestions for like what we could exchange emails and I could just send them, but maybe what would be most useful for everyone involved is just to have some kind of like a public platform where these are being uploaded. People do that with YouTube, right?
Yeah. I was about to say YouTube would be cool.
Probably be.
Kyle needs his own YouTube show. He's a great host.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking about it this whole time. I was like, you need a podcast or you need a YouTube show or something.
I just
Webflow with Kyle.
I just started a site. I haven't really told anyone. I think I told you, Rachel. I sent it to you. It's still a work in progress, but it's called No Code Collab.
Ooh, I like
nice.
it.
Oh,
That's good.
No Code Collab. And I need to. Some of my first videos were a little rough, but I'm working on it. My goal is a video a week. So, and there's not much there, but you can check it out if you want.
Awesome.
So actually, to your point, Rachel, maybe we could put it there if you wanted. I mean, not that I need to promote my thing with our Webflow. We can put it.
Get a cut out of it.
I think the discussion's good. I'm a little shaky on the whole presentation side of things, but yeah.
You were great.
Yeah, we was talking down on Webflow a little bit too.
Yeah, that's true. We'll make it.
Let's cut that out.
There's plenty of that out there, though.
Thanks. All right, well, I gotta go, but thank you guys. It was a pleasure meeting you, and see you at the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.